up, Bama Nation? It's Carol Witt, and you are tuned into Crimson Watch, where we watch the Tide roll. So, the transfer portal is open from the 15th or 16th through the 30th. And the chaos, Wild Wild West rodeo did not ensue like we thought it would have as of yet. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to. We still have a lot of time. We got all this week before it closes. So a lot of people could jump into the portal. And Bama got an opportunity to grab some names out the portal. So we're going to see what goes on. But I've been doing some research. I've been doing a little recon on these other teams and their spring games and trying to see what players might enter that portal. And I've been watching a lot of other content creators. One specifically, I believe the Coach JB and Smitty show. Right there, I'm going to put it down here so you guys can check them out. But they were talking about some interesting things when it comes to the transfer portal and the long-term effects that it could possibly have. And I wanted to kind of share my thoughts and kind of piggyback on what they said because I thought it was very interesting. And one of the things that they were talking about is the culture. The culture has been canceled around college sports because the players don't care about it. And if the players don't care about it, you're going to make the fans not care about it. College sports has set itself apart from the NFL because of the traditions and the culture and the pageantry that we have seen. The whiteout at Penn State, Rocky Top at Tennessee, Between the Hedges at Georgia, Bryant-Denny Stadium and Dixieland Delight. All of those things are what make college football so special. But when you have the players who are not connected, the players who don't feel it, who don't love it as much as we do as the fans, where is that going to lead college sport? You got all these players that come in and say, I'm committed, I'm committed, I'm committed. And then when you face a little adversity, you're gone. We don't believe you. So how can we love you and be committed to you as a player and support you everywhere you go when you guys are only staying at a program 1 or 2 years? Which brings me to my next point. Can a 4-year mindset coach win a championship in this new era? That remains to be seen because this new NIL transfer portal deal is very new. And we're going to probably have to see it down the line a few years to see if it actually works. And this is Crimson Watch, but I want to talk about college football as a whole. Every team, every coach. How is this going to shape college football for the fans, for the ratings, for all of the things that make college football great? What is it going to look like? I personally believe that if we continue down this road that we are going, it is eventually going to diminish high school athletes because these teams are going to want to get transfers who are experienced. These programs and even the fans have evolved to a win now attitude. And having high schoolers come up, you're going to have to develop those guys. And if they're not ready to plug and play, because everybody isn't going to be like a Caleb Downs and be able to go out there and make an impact so soon, unless you have a phenomenal coach like Coach Saban, who was able to develop him as a player and make him better and could see that raw talent that he has. Now, high schoolers who need to be developed, I don't think that they're going to be able to flourish as much as they used to because these programs want experienced players. They want guys out of the transfer portal who have started or are 5 and 4 stars, and they want them to come and make a difference on their team. They're building their team. These programs seem to be trying to build their team from the transfer portal, and I don't know if that is sustainable long term. And it's going to hurt high school students long term. Before, you could just grab a high school student, develop them, and then by the time year 3 or 4, they're ready to go out there and play. And they're already committed to the program. They know the coaches. They know the plays. They know the dynamic at that program. But now you got players who are experienced are jumping from 3 to 4 to 5 teams. So what is that going to do to those high schoolers? It's going to eventually trickle down to that being null and void unless you're the best of the best of the best, and even junior college. Because, you know, people getting great players out of junior college, that was like those guys go to those colleges to develop, to get better so they can get picked up by D1. But if we're just going to pick and pluck from the transfer portal to get the best player out of there, what's the point of going to JUCO or going to high school at all? Which brings me back to my point. Can you have that 4-year mindset and win in 2 years? Because as a coach, you're going to have to evolve. You're going to have to adapt, which is why I think a lot of the reason why Coach Saban did retire, even though he was the master at adapting. See, a lot of people want to say, oh, well, he retired because he couldn't compete. I've already explained to y'all how well that he competed within this new era of college football. The man won an SEC championship. He went undefeated last season. So that's a moot point. But the fact remains is that a lot of these coaches who are not as great as Nick Saban, they're not going to be able to adapt so quickly and evolve and have that type of mindset of winning, because it's going to get too stressful. Because again, the fans and the program and the alumni want win now. And if you're not winning now, you're gone. So you can't have that, oh, I'm going to develop players 4 and 5 years or whatever, and then we're going to give me 4 years and we'll win a championship. No, people want a 1 to 2 year turnaround. And although that is not fair, that is the type of landscape that we are in today. I don't know if that can be done. Coach DeBoer, he is now over at Alabama. Can he win a championship in year 1? We don't know. I think this is all very novice to everybody. Everybody is learning on the fly, and it's a learning curve for everybody at this point to try to figure out how can they navigate with this high speed pace of college football. College football is moving so fast that if a player gets injured, they're in the transfer portal. If they don't play, they're in the transfer portal. If they have an outstanding season, they're in the transfer portal. You got so much turnaround. How can you be successful? I mean, how can you be successful at any job if there is a lot of turnover? If you work in corporate America and you have your employees, they're always coming in and out, in and out, in and out. The training is always going to be lacking because you have to train a new person to do this, train a new person to do that. So you keep trying to climb that mountain and you keep falling back down. So there's never any real progress toward the ultimate goal, because you keep having all these new people coming in and coming out. That's exactly what the CFB is right now. All of this turnover, I don't think it's just very sustainable. It's going to implode at some point if there isn't anything to eventually bring it back to homeostasis, if you know what I'm saying. And I'm not just saying this for Alabama. I'm saying this as a fan of college football. I want college football to remain what I fell in love with. And just a side note, when I went to A-Day, I enjoyed A-Day. But what I noticed is that these players felt like celebrities to me. I felt like the fans were excited to see their favorite NFL player, aside from seeing their favorite team, seeing their favorite college team play. You had all of the recruits signing autographs. You had the players signing autographs, and then the player Mark Sears was coming down interacting with the fans, and he couldn't even stand there and watch the spring game because fans were coming up to him in crowds trying to get his autograph. And I'm just like, man, these are college athletes. And we're treating them like they are Tom Brady, LeBron James, or any big pro name who are making multi-millions of dollars. And it just seems like the passion, or what we knew college football to be, is gone, or college sports to be is gone. And we're treating these guys like celebrities, like they are untouchable, like they are just not as relatable, or they're not it's not an interpersonal type thing, even though we don't know them and that they're young people. But there has to be some type of relatability, because that's what makes college football what it is. When we see guys play on Sunday, it's like, okay, that's my favorite player. Like, of course they are bigger than big. They're celebrities. They're bigger than big. They're unattainable. We can't touch them because of, they are professionals. But these guys are supposed to be amateurs in college, getting an education. And I think it's a very slippery slope that we are on when we make college students celebrities. But that's just, just a side note of things that I noticed while I was at A-Day, because it just did not feel the same as it always has. It did not feel like a gathering of people coming to watch their favorite team. It just I'm coming to see my favorite player, like you often do when you go to NFL games. What is fading away to me is the fan love for the sport. I think, we're still holding on to what we knew college football to be. We're still holding on to that because we're hoping that the powers that be, the people that make a lot of money to make the decisions, we're hoping that they're going to get a handle on this thing and bring it back to what we remember so we can continue to love the sport. But right now, I think we are grasping and holding on to that passion, hoping that we will see some remembrance of it. We're hoping that when the season starts, we're not going to see a bunch of entitled players not really giving it all on the field. Not going to see a bunch of divas wanting the spotlight. We're hoping that we're still going to see that passion. And I think we will for the most part, because again, all of these things are still very new. So the mindset of tradition and culture that is ingrained in certain programs like the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Michigans, the Ohio States, those programs have already built up a culture of staying loyal and the standard and just building. But other schools who don't have that culture, who are trying to build that culture, are having an issue trying to keep players or trying to get fans involved. I mean, you could just simply look at the spring games of other schools. A lot of people don't go to those games because, again, there is no passion in it. People don't really care about things like that. Now, of course, Alabama spring game, you had 70,000 people there. I don't know how many people Georgia had, or I know Auburn didn't have a lot, but other schools, people in the South or wherever, people who have a culture, they really love it, and you can see it within the players. But eventually, those blue blood brands of the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Michigans, eventually you're going to start to see that same idea of, oh, wait, I ain't playing, I'm gone. So it's really going to take the staff and the coaches and the people who understand what the standard of remaining loyal, trusting the process. You're going to have to have those people within the program to teach everybody else that are coming up to trust the process as well, because we are in a new age, and these athletes are really not loyal. They don't care about the program like you care as a fan. Even though you grew up wearing those colors, they didn't grow up wearing those colors. They might be from way across the country. So what it means to you is not what it means to them. They're trying to get to the NFL. They're trying to help their family, and that's understandable. But again, like I said, it hurts us as fans because they don't have the same passion that we have. What I think is going to eventually happen, if they don't change these things, is that teams are going to build super teams. Okay? And like Ohio State at this point, it's all about money. It's all about the money. So they're going to build super teams. And what you're going to start to see is different teams winning the Natty. Now, you might say, well, that's not no big deal. I love that would be a different team. I'm tired of seeing Alabama. I'm tired of seeing the SEC in the playoffs. So, yeah, I want to see different teams win the Natties. But do you want to see different teams win the Natties at the expense of one super team being made every single year? Or do you want a healthy competition where if you're just the best, you're just the best? Because that's what I want, regardless if it's Alabama or not. If you're the best team because you have built your program up, because you have developed your players, and because y'all got the best coaches, then I'm okay with that team winning the national championship. I'm okay with that team beating everybody else. But if you get to buy your players, if you get to constantly do what you want to do with the NIL thing and the pay for play, as long as if we're doing that, then no, I don't want that type of college football. I want you get the best players because you're recruiting them and you're developing them. And then they end up being that great generational player or that great player at their university that everybody knows their name. Not because you bought them from another team, from another school, because they just went to the championship. So you went and got all of their best players if they didn't go to the NFL. I don't want that because that's whack to me. What I think builds character and what builds a great team is a good sense of fear that somebody is going to take your spot. And I think that is lost. Now, they don't care. If a player comes in and they say, well, I'm a starter, cool, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna show out, and I know when the season over, everybody gonna be calling my phone. Even though you ain't supposed to tamper, I know everybody gonna be calling me because they gonna be trying to get me, and they gonna want me to come to that team. Everybody gonna drop a bag on me, so I don't really care that I'm out here at Alabama. Texas is offering me a bag, and I know I went off last season, so I'm going over here to Texas. Same thing Caleb Downs did. Caleb Downs went off at Alabama as a freshman. Ohio State dropped the bag and he went over to Ohio State, and he probably gonna ball out at Ohio State. That's what you're gonna have in college football. That's what you're gonna have. These kids don't care about stuff like that. Now, of course, you still got the ones that really care and really want to play, like Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is Alabama through and through because he could have left and he stayed. So you still going to have players like that who got that heart, who got that fight to want to fight through adversity, the ones that want to still compete. You're still going to have those, but you're also going to have a great number of players who is just looking for me. Looking for an opportunity to get the bag, to get the limelight, the spotlight, all of those things. And at 21 years old, I can't say that I wouldn't probably do the same thing as well. But when you got a good sense of fear that the person behind you is going to come up behind you and take your spot, it make you play harder. It make you play harder because the person behind you, they also can look at it like, well, I'm going to take their spot, so I'm going to stay here because I know I got an opportunity to take their spot. And I'm not just thinking about, oh, I'm going to transfer to a new school. Oh, I can't play. I just transfer because I know some people want me over here. I ain't fight adversity. For what? I came out of high school as a 5-star. What you mean? I ain't got to fight through no. I should be starting. But see, if you had this transfer portal NIL thing under control, that healthy sense of fear that, oh, I might not start, let me give it all I got. Because right now they know they got a way out. They know they got a way out. They got an exit plan. So they was like, okay, cool. If you don't want to play me, I'm finna go somewhere else. But if you know you got somebody nipping at your heels behind you, you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to do what I got to do. And the person behind you, they going to be like, okay, cool. I'm finna do what I got to do because I'm finna take your spot. I want to start. And then you got overturned. It's a domino effect because they going to make each other better. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my little 2 cents. Of course, I'm just a fan on the outside looking in. I wanted to give my 2 cents on what was going on because the transfer portal is open right now and we really don't know how college football is really going to be in 5 years. So, tell me what y'all think in the comments. Let me know. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And all you people that, that watch my stuff and you ain't subscribed, y'all go ahead and subscribe. It's okay. It ain't going to hurt you. I ain't going to bombard you, your timeline and stuff with too many videos. Just once a week, okay? But thank y'all for watching and roll Tide.